AI, it's everywhere. We see it everywhere you go, everything you talk about. It's kind of controlled the entire tech industry and, quite honestly, the industry in general, the economy, the world's economy, it seems. It's like the only thing propping it up. It's the only thing that gets executives excited about something. If they're saying, oh, are you implementing any of your work into AI? Is your workflows, does it have any AI in it? And it's gone into the gaming market, not just from a RAM perspective where PCs are costing an arm and a leg. You got to basically take out a mortgage to put anything down to get a PC at this point because of how expensive RAM is. It's gotten into infiltrating more than just that. It's gotten into talking about how technologies and how art or things written through AI are developers using it to make games. And honestly, it's not going to go anywhere. I think it's going to be here for a long time. Yet gamers constantly talk about it, developers constantly bring it up, they try to implement it into everything that we consume as consumers of games. And it's going to be a topic that comes up every few months, every week, every event. And I've gone through basically multiple articles seeing what's happening. And one of the ones that just cropped up was Steam. Valve just rewrote their entire disclosure of what AI is when a game comes out. They want to put the onus on developers to put what AI generative material they have in their games and put it full-fledged on the front page. So when you look at a game and you think it looks interesting, you can look at the About page and see, hey, there's some AI generation in here. They have put some models in there that they use, and it's on there. You can look at this now, technically. You can see it in Arc Raiders, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and a couple other ones that are out there that have this disclosure in there. So I wanted to jump into where we stand here. What happens when developers start disclosing this, and what happens when developers start using it, and how are they reacting to this? Because let's be real, AI is not going anywhere, and I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg of what it means for us gamers when we consume all of these video games that we just love to play. So I want to jump into this article by Video Games Chronicle that talks about what just happened and what Steam did. Valve has significantly rewritten Steam's guidelines for how developers must disclose the use of generative AI in their video games. As spotted by Games Discovery co-Simon Carless, Valve has made it clearer that AI-powered tools such as code helpers do not require a disclosure, and that efficiency gains through the use of AI-powered dev tools is not the focus of its efforts. The first of the two types of AI use that developers will have to disclose is AI to generate content for the game, whether that is within the game, on its store page, or in marketing materials. Let's stop right there because there's another part that we have to go through, but let's break that one down. So basically what they want you to do is, hey, if you make any marketing material, some art, concept art, anything else that basically goes in front of the consumer, we would like you to disclose that this was made with AI. That seems fine to me. I'm sure some people work through that and use it to get some of the juices flowing when it comes to creativity, but cool, disclose it. Why not be transparent in how you make your games or how you market your games? So I have no problem with that. And I think that it's something that is going to come up a lot more because while everybody's trying to cut costs, so to speak, every single time we hear about it, they're going to start using AI to help cut those costs. Now, let's see what else it means. There's a second part to this. The second is AI content generated during gameplay, and whether the game in question generates AI-created images, audio, text, and other content. Very different now. This is where we are not just on the store page. This is not just for marketing. This is very much so that we understand that it's in the game, something that users are interacting or consuming within the game, be it writing, storytelling, audio, not using voice actors, things like that. That's the big one. That's what I think a lot of people are going to start noticing. Are we using real writers to write these games? Are art directors or people that are artists helping create the world around that we're playing in? That's going to be fascinating to see because I've worked in the tech industry for a little while now, and I know what it takes to create machine learning and AI units to help manipulate what you're trying to do with the data that you have and implement it into your workflows. It takes a lot of time and a lot of engineers, and you need to take the time to integrate it in a change management way. What does that mean? People are used to working a certain way. Now you have to flip the way they work, retrain them, have onboarding processes, make sure that AI is integrated perfectly for them. And you know what? To get to the point where they're implementing that into their games, well, I think it's about time that somebody kind of calls it out. Hey, why are you using this? How are you using this? Does it have a better effect on the game? Has it helped you efficiently? And how are the consumers taking this? Are they consuming this part of the game that you're bringing forward? And is the writing better? Is the art direction better? What part of this is helping? So, yeah, disclosing it is pretty cool. And having those two rules, which is basically in a marketing material and things that we consume in the game, doesn't seem like that bad of a stretch. It doesn't seem like that big of an ask. Yet some developers and even some high executives or CEOs want to know, where's the breaking point? When does it stop? When can we stop doing that? Or what do we have to report? It becomes a little mushy to them. And one of those executives is Tim Sweeney from Epic. Epic Games boss Tim Sweeney recently said digital storefronts like Steam should stop using AI disclosure labels because AI will be involved in nearly all future production anyway. PC gamers, Tyler Wilde, disagreed, as do I, but he also noted that such disclosures can be tricky for developers. Does it count if you used Photoshop's generative fill tool while making concept art that was never intended for the public eye? Or if you use Claude to generate a few code snippets? Or if someone in marketing used ChatGPT to make a spreadsheet? I don't think you're understanding what they're trying to ask for. All those things are for processes and administration, something that you put into your workflow for your developers and the people internally to use. I don't think that's what they're going for. That's not what this is all about. It's about understanding that you can make your game more efficiently internally. That's not something that was being seen by the customer or the gamer, anybody that's using your material or the product you created. That's for internal purposes. You can get somebody to help fill in a little bit of a gaps when it comes to coding, when it comes to anything else that you're doing to make it more efficient. Got that. Make your workflows as efficient as possible because we want games to come out as soon as possible. What Steam is trying to do is show you, hey, how about you just show us what the consumer is going to see? Any AI from that perspective. Now, I know a lot of people got up in arms the last couple weeks or about a month ago or so, or the last few months when Larian Studios talked about using AI in Divinity. Everybody was up in arms because Baldur's Gate 3 is one of the best games ever. It has come out, it has kind of revitalized the RPG, especially the CRPG genre, and made it into something that is mainstream. It's a home name. Everybody knows about it. It's a household name. So what happened during that whole thing? Do people think that they're going to start using AI for in-game purposes that people jump into and you get to see with your own two eyes and use and interact with? No, it's exactly what we're talking about here with this whole thing of using it to better suit your workflow. And that's what Swen talks about here. It's been a week since we announced Divinity, our next RPG, and a lot has become lost in translation. Larian's DNA is agency. Everything we work towards is to benefit of our teams, games, and players. A better workday and a better game. Our successes come from empowering people to work in their own way and bring the best out of their skill in craft, so that we can make the best RPGs we can possibly make. In that context, it would be irresponsible for us not to evaluate new technologies. However, our processes are always evolving. And where they are not efficient or fail to align with who we are, we will make changes. To give you more insight, we'll do an AMA featuring our different departments after the holiday break, in which you'll get the opportunity to ask as many questions as you have about Divinity and our dev process directly. So I actually think this is pretty cool. They're not talking about everything that's going to be in their game. What they're talking about and trying to hint at is that some of this is going to help their processes in the long term. This isn't about jumping into things and making sure that we create the game through AI only and not use humans or anything like that, developers. No, they write everything themselves. He's talked about in that interview that they hired a whole studio, basically. They bought a studio of concept artists to help create what they're trying to establish in Divinity. That's where I think things can move forward. I think you can use AI to bring awesome efficiencies in your workflow and the way you work. Yeah, it requires some change management, but over time, it's easier for you to change the way you're working and be more creative and get games out that are more creative in an efficient manner. That's where I think AI kind of has that sweet spot. I don't think it belongs where you're going to start writing material, start making stories with AI. That's where I think it could get really ugly. That's where I think when you start making AI help create the intellectual property, that's where things get weird. That's where I think a lot of gamers have pause and they're a little scared of like, hey, we don't want AI to be creating all of this. We want you to bring the creatives forward. And if you need AI to help be a little bit creative, totally fine. But I think when it comes to IP, that's where it's going to have a roadblock. And honestly, Games Workshop just brought out something that they announced recently that they're banning AI from their development and their IPs. Look at what they say here. Warhammer Maker Games Workshop bans its staff from using AI in its content or designs. Says none of its senior managers are currently excited about the tech. Raunchy said AI was a very broad topic, and to be honest, I'm not an expert on it, then went on to lay down the company line. We do have a few senior managers that are experts on AI. None are that excited about it yet. We have agreed an internal policy to guide us all, which is currently very cautious. We do not allow AI-generated content or AI to be used in our design process or its unauthorized use outside of Game Workshop, including in any of our competitions. We also have to monitor and protect ourselves from a data compliance, security, and governance perspective. The AI or machine learning machines seem to be automatically included in our phones or laptops, whether we like it or not. We are allowing those few senior managers to continue to be inquisitive about the technology. We have also agreed we will be maintaining a strong commitment to protect our intellectual property and respect our human creators. In the period reported, we continued to invest in our Warhammer studio, hiring more creatives in multiple disciplines, from concepting and art to writing and sculpting. Talented and passionate individuals that make Warhammer the rich, evocative IP that our hobbyists and we all love. Awesome answer. Awesome answer. Have some people, and this reminds me of Lorien Studios, have some people in the background, have people there working on AI, trying to understand it, a small team, kind of a rogue team, being like, hey, I think we have a gap here in our development. Maybe AI can help make it more efficient. That's what Warhammer's doing. Because let's be real, Warhammer is one of the biggest properties out there right now. They have a ton of games out there, and lately they've been very picky of who gets their games, who gets to work in that IP, in that sandbox, so to speak. And everything there, they really guard. They are super protective of their IP because it's awesome. It's very unique. You know a Warhammer game when you see it. It looks cool, it's awesome, and you just want to keep playing it because you're in this universe that's so brutal, yet so awesome to be in and so unique. So they're protecting that by continuously hiring artists that fit that bill for them. And I'm happy about it. I think that's a great way of doing it. Have some people working on it in the background, have everybody else create the stuff that they wanted to. Everything that they have in there goes through a system that they've worked out, that they have, that generate this kind of IP, this kind of legacy to them. And I think that's a great way of looking at it. And it reminds me of what Lorien Studios is doing. They have some people working on it. They said it's very preliminary and that they're working on it, but you always got to check out new technologies. Of course you do. If you don't check out new technologies, then you're already behind. So have the team work on it, have AI be a part of it, but having that disclosure that Valve gives you really does open up and keep people accountable. Because you don't know what's going into your workflow. You don't know what's going into your infrastructure if everybody's just using it and it's kind of just out there, willy-nilly, so to speak. And so I think that's a really cool way to do this. And let's be real for a second. This isn't new for Valve. This new mandate has actually been in there since 2024. They just rewrote it a little bit to make it more efficient and also make it more transparent for gamers. As the article says here, the AI disclosure form otherwise looks consistent with the policy Valve detailed back in 2024 when it first introduced its rules around generative AI. The form breaks AI usage down into two categories: pre-generated, which is any in-game content created with the help of AI tools, and live-generated, covering anything created via AI systems while the game in question is running. Pre-generated content is subject to the same rules as non-AI content, while developers of games making use of live-generated content must also lay out what kind of guardrails you're putting on your AI to ensure it's not generating illegal content. That's the other thing that people don't really go down, honestly, is AI. If you ever put anything into ChatGPT, you know that it hallucinates sometimes. It'll start putting some random stuff out there. And so you always have to be mindful of what it's doing so it doesn't hallucinate. And it's not perfect. And that's why some of these developers and some of the people using it aren't that impressed with it, because it requires so much oversight. You need AI engineers. You need a lot of people that have that experience using it and how to manipulate it in a way that you want it to be used. That's the point of this. While it does prop up everything, it makes everything, I guess, cheaper to develop in some aspects when it comes to administration or how you use for project management, product management, all of those things. I get it. You can put it through Jira or Confluence and all those things that you use, smart sheets, all of those things. I'm sure it'll do well there, but that's for internal use, not for consumer use. And that's what Steam doesn't care about. They don't care if they use it for your workflows. They care if you put it in a game and it's something that somebody has to interact with, because that's where things can get a little sticky. Is it going to create the right thing? Is it going to do something that you don't want it to do? Or is it going to be even legal? That's what I don't think people understand about AI, is that this stuff requires a lot of money. A lot. We see how much it is for the RAM. We see all these things happening. We see that it's kind of like this big bubble happening and everybody's using it. Everybody wants to be a part of it. And honestly, a lot of executives are pushing it because they think it could be more efficient, but they don't really understand the technical prowess that you need to have it. They don't understand the infrastructure you need to have it. That's where I think things can get a little sticky, because if you don't have any of that planned out, worked on, executives aren't going to give you money. I think a lot of developers say, of course we're putting AI in our workflow. Of course we're doing this, because they want executives to write them that check to keep development going. That's where I think it is. That's where I think we are right now. I think a lot of developers and a lot of people saying that they're playing with it don't really have it integrated in their workflow. I don't really think they have it integrated where they're using it as effectively as they can, because they're just working on the game that they're working on, and they've been doing what they've been doing for the last 5 to 10 to 20 years. And this is all studios across the board. Yeah, I get it. People love innovation. People love tech. But I don't think you understand the scale it takes to implement something that big into a workflow of, call it 200 people at a studio, 400 people, 500 people, 600, whatever the number is. It's harder. This is why the Agile Scrum system exists. This is why smaller developers, indies, Expedition 33, other smaller developers are able to bring up so much content, because it's so easy to make such a quick change in their workflow, because they're not affecting so many people down the chain that they can just go, hey, you know what? Got it. We can do this. Tell the 3 people over there working on it, this is how we're going to do things. This is how we're going to generate this world, how we're going to generate this. And it works just fine for them, because it's easier to do that in a small team. It's agile. It's agility, right? That's the whole point of it. Product managers can scope a little bit better that way, because they have a smaller team they can communicate that with. When you start going to Xbox, EA, Ubisoft, all the other big publishers, Take-Two, whoever it is, it's going to take a lot longer for that to happen. I'm sure it'll happen over time. I'm sure it'll be some painstaking things that we see, but it's great that Steam wants to bring that to the forefront and give people an idea of like, hey, this game does that. Maybe there's a difference, because so far all we've been looking at is user reviews on Steam to see if it is AI driven, to be quite honest. A lot of people put it on there and you can read it, but that's not very efficient. So all in all, I'm actually excited to see where this goes for the industry. I know that sounds kind of counterintuitive, or people don't like that, but I'm excited to see what happens in AI, because I think it can make games more efficient, but I also think it could do some harm. We'll have to see. And it's always been this thing in the tech industry, adapt or die. Make sure you're always there. Make sure you're doing the most technical thing and that you're always on top of stuff and you're being innovative. But over time, I think we need to understand that the art comes first, the gameplay comes first, and how developers develop things comes first. And make sure that the customer, or us, the gamer, understand what's happening and be transparent about it. Not how the sausage is made with the administrative stuff that they keep talking about, but more of like, hey, this is AI generated. How does it work for you? Does it look cool? Or is it something that breaks the game in your immersion? That's where we want to see. Plus, of course, the legal battles. But let me know what you think about this stuff, because I think it's super interesting. I'm going through multiple articles and I'm like, man, this is crazy. How much people are talking about it, how controversial it could be. And, Microsoft doesn't want us to call it AI slop anymore. I think people are going to keep doing that, bud. I don't think you could stop the train coming ahead. So let me know what you think down below, because I always care what people think. I want to know what gamers think. Do you think it's cool? Are you annoyed with it? Do you even understand what it's doing? Do you think that this is even a big deal that people should be talking about? Let me know down below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. It helps the channel out more than you know. You have no idea. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there trying to talk games, communicate with people, post some stuff, some news, some articles that I like, and of course the things that I love the most, which is gaming. And like I end every video, I tell you what I've been playing lately. So I've been jumping into a lot of TFT. The new Avatar, Pandora, whatever, the third person they put in, that view of the third person was awesome. I'm enjoying that game a lot too. So yeah, let me know down below what game you're playing and what you're enjoying, what system you're on. So far I've been playing on Steam on my PC a lot. So yeah, let me know down below. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching. And until the next time, enjoy your gaming. Later.